boop, 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 boop. We have a countdown. I think people can hear me. Live stream starting. Something's happening. I think. I don't know. I'm still getting used to the streaming software. Oh yeah. Oh, we're live. Okay, look at that. We got a thing up on the screen. Okay. Snazzy. Probably going live in less than 10 minutes. I don't want to wait the countdown. The countdown is false. The countdown's a lie, everybody. If you can hear me, don't listen to the countdown. Okie dokie. Main camera. Hey, everybody. Welcome to my Saturday morning live stream. I don't know. I've been kind of inconsistent with my live streams lately, especially this last week. This last week I've been dealing with like a lot of medical stuff. You know me, nerve issues. My stomach's been giving me problems. And I haven't had a lot of sleep, but last night I got some sleep, thankfully, and I have a very special stream today. We're going to be talking with Jacob from FPV Unlocked. It's a really great FPV course. You may have seen the video of last week where he came out here to San Diego to come learn how to fly 3D. We also talked about the course and why it's beneficial and who it's for, because it's not for everybody, but for those it's for, it's definitely going to be helpful. And so I brought him on today to talk about that. We also have like a pre-announcement. I'm probably going to be working with them a bit going forward. So I want to talk about that and kind of get you guys familiar with FPV Unlocked, because it's very likely I'm going to be working with them a lot going forward. So, without further ado, let's bring Jacob in, introduce him, talk to him. I can read your comments in chat, and welcome everybody to an early Saturday morning on, right before Thanksgiving. Wow. Okay, let's get into this. Boom! Jacob, welcome to the live stream. You are live on the stream.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think they can hear you.
Awesome.
So we're still warming up. We only have a few people in right now. And YouTube has not been super happy after my last live stream. But for those that don't know who you are, who the heck are you? What do you do? And like, introduce yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Jacob Howard. I'm the founder and creator of FPV Unlocked. It's the world's first online course that teaches you everything you need to know about getting started in FPV. We've worked with a bunch of different companies and a bunch of different people to really create a curated course content for people to learn FPV without all the huge guessing game and all the mistakes you can make. I mean, obviously you'll still make mistakes, but you know, it'll be much less, and we'll be able to help curate the content around to where we can teach you, hey, here's what you need to know, here's what you need to do to learn FPV and really get started and going in it. So that's what we've created. That's what we do. You know, every second I'm breathing basically, and yeah. So like that's what we go for. That's our like just base goal. We offer a lot of other benefits as well, and I'm sure we'll talk about that as we go. But yeah, that's kind of like who I am and what we do.
Right on. Very, very cool. So I guess I know you are more recent to FPV. Like you jumped in after the great influx of people that have joined the hobby, but you are not new to drones. So talk to us a little bit about your like experience in drones, and you know what brings you to FPV.
Yeah, so I started with the Phantom 3 Pro. That was my first drone that I got. And honestly, like I literally bought a drone so that I could do animations into it. Like I was, you know, just I had a full-time job, a salary job, and I just bought a drone because I was like, you know what, you know, I have some money, I want to invest. It looks really cool, really interested me. I was like, you know, I'll animate some dragons in it. I'll do some really cool videos or whatever. And literally, like even with my Phantom, like my first time taking off, like I crashed it, you know, even with a Phantom. And yeah, so then I started getting into it more and more, and it just blew my mind. I just absolutely loved it. So I just kept going, kept upgrading my gear, getting better drones and stuff like that, and actually started a whole video company. Quit my job, and started my own video company that included droning and normal video production stuff like that. I've worked with multi-billion-dollar companies around the world making video and content for them over the last several years, and then recently I went in and started FPV, and just absolutely fell in love with it. Just thought it was really, really great. So I see my audio might be a little low.
Yeah, no,
Do I
I
need to
think I
turn
think
up on
no,
my
I
end
think
or?
that's my end. I think that's my end because you sound good for
Okay.
me. Yeah, no, I'm adjusting. Guys in chat, let me know if it gets better, if it gets worse. This is
Okay.
a
I guess I gotta keep talking
no,
to be
no.
able
Well,
to tell.
so we have our first question regarding everything. Whatever FPV asked, what would be the benefit for a seasoned FPV pilot?
Benefit of the course for seasoned FPV pilot. Right now, the course content we've started with, which is over 8 hours of content, it really brings you from step one to flying freestyle, even some racing. We're working on a cinematic section now. The benefit that's really going to help is all those tiny details that you don't always know. Like we have just in module one alone, which is 2 hours, and that's it. That's like the what is FPV, where we explain parts and configurations and protocols and all that stuff. We go deep into it. We're talking thousands and thousands of hours of research condensed into 2 hours of video just in module one. And then as we go up, we just keep bringing in more of that content. And on top of that, we're always adding more content. So like we are constantly working on creating more modules that even if there's a seasoned FPV pilot who's really good at freestyle, well, he also could maybe go learn racing with us or cinematic FPV or how to fly a 3D drone or a beast class, X class. Like we're going to keep growing this course. And the benefits of that, like we've had people who've been in it for a decade, who have been in FPV since the very beginning, who are learning things from this course. So the benefit, like right now, honestly, just being totally honest with you guys, it may not be as great for a seasoned FPV pilot as for someone who's just starting out, but there is still a benefit there, and that benefit's going to keep growing as we keep adding content to the course.
Right on. That's a really great answer. And yeah, no, it's definitely I think something that's geared more towards the inexperienced pilot. I mean, if you, and this is the way I see it, like a simulator. If you get a simulator, you're gonna save yourself hundreds of dollars in broken parts and frustration when you crash.
Mm-hmm.
With a course like this, when you're getting FPV, it really saves you the money and hassle of breaking stuff, trying to make stuff work, not knowing how to solder things together. Like it saves you that hassle, and even though I think it's like a little bit of a upfront cost, which can be off-putting for a lot of people when it's already expensive to get into, I really do think it's going to be able to save people money in the long run.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean, my first FPV drone is still in the mountains of Utah because I lost it on Christmas Day, and it was because, and this is something I say a lot, is in FPV you don't know what you don't know. Like you don't know that it's different in this way. Like especially me coming from like DJI stabilized drones stuff like that, I knew in my head that if I lose connection to it, it's not going to fly back to me like it would a Mavic or whatever. But still, just that inherent, like just the instinct basically just wasn't there yet, and I lost it, and it's gone. $600 setup is up there in the canyon still. And like people like when they tell me, oh man, I wish this course had been back here when I started, and I was like, well, me too. Like I would have saved myself that whole drone and that whole terrible experience if I had had something like this, because it would have taught me, very chronologically. Because I tried to learn like on the YouTube and stuff like that, and jump on and just try to search topics, but I never knew how they related to each other. And the amount of time I was gonna have to put into it, I didn't really have all that time. So I did make a mistake and just bought the drone. Was like, okay, I know enough that I can take off, and I talked to some local pilots and stuff, but I still made a mistake that ended, my entire drone. So.
yeah, and I think it's funny because like when I got into it, there wasn't really any information available. Like there was like some flight test videos, and they weren't really drone related and old drone stuff. There was RC model reviews, and even then it wasn't super drone related. Like you didn't have a series that was like, this is how to fly, this is how to build, this is how you get into it. This is step 1 through step 100. you know.
Hmm.
And even the best channels out there, like Bardwell, he has tons of information, but it's not really chronologically presented in a way that makes it easy for people to go from step one to which step one is like, what is FPV? I like this, I want to get into it, to flying down a mountain competently and having the skills to do that, you know. So there's definitely, I think, a need for that. And I think honestly, my biggest pet peeve with FPV, and I think the biggest hurdle that we have, isn't technology related. It isn't regulation related, although regulation is probably the second biggest one. The biggest issue in FPV is how flippin' hard it is to get an FPV. I mean, people spend so much time and head bashing against walls and benches and soldering irons trying to just figure out how to get into this amazing hobby. And in the process, I think we lose a vast majority of people that even attempt to get into it. And
Yes.
it's a shame. It's a real big shame.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love this course, and this is why I think I love it so much. I want to support it in multiple ways. And I think that's why there's other people in the industry that see the need for it. I know you have some exciting announcements coming up. And it's it's really cool to see the industry start getting behind it. Um, and you know, it's fine if you can learn via YouTube videos and you want to go through the hassle and the at times very overwhelming experience of diving down that rabbit hole. It's there. You know,
Hmm.
like it's like your
Yep.
course doesn't take away from that. Like people learn differently, but for some people, I think a lot of people, they need structure in the way they learn things, and that really
Yeah.
hasn't been available before this course.
Yeah. and
So
and it is, I this is something that definitely, a lot of people are like, oh well, I can just, go watch a playlist, a build a drone playlist or this or that. It is a lot more. We offer a lot more than just video content, just us telling you some information. We have a community, we have a private community. We update our content. We're providing more content. We're giving you curated content. That's the best word I can really use, is curated, because it is specifically meant to get you going in FPV as quickly, efficiently, and inexpensively as possible, so you're not destroying things. And that, I think, is just so important for people, and it is really worth, the cost that can be to join. We have, support. So like usually, like in our Facebook group, or if you email us or message us, we respond usually within minutes. Sometimes hours, or maybe the next day if it's a weekend or whatever. But usually, we're getting people back their responses quickly, and we're helping them, really get going in FPV. Some of the people who've worked with me on this course have, over a decade of FPV before it even, really started going. So they've been there right on the ground level, and they've been
hashtag
working with me on this
McGregor.
course all the way up.
I think McGregor is isn't he one of your more seasoned pilots working with you?
Yes, yes. McGregor, the guy. I love telling this story about him. He's the kind of guy, I have footage of it. He's the kind of guy who took his RC airplane, strapped a camcorder, with basically like rubber bands, and flew it in Utah to get footage.
Oh my God, I love
Like,
this guy
that's the kind of
already.
guy he is. It's just awesome. That just makes me like so happy that he has helped us build this course up in the beginning. Because like we said, like, I am newer to FPV, but I saw this huge need that we need something like this. So I knew McGregor. He had helped me with some of my stuff. And I was like, dude, let's do this. And he jumped on board, and we were able to get, the first 8 hours of content that were out already. And in that time, like, I've been able to grow more and more in my experiences with FPV, to where I am, higher up on the level now, because I've been working with like McGregor, and, just immersing myself for, this course has been going on for like 9 months, that we've been making it and developing it. So I've just been immersing myself in the FPV world. And yeah, I'm excited to see it grow and continue to help people.
Now, on that note, an interesting note, whatever FPV says, I think the key is to keep it updated and keep the older stuff for reference. Now, I know you've been talking about adding more course content, because like for reference, the course right now, there's a link down in the description. I haven't even plugged the course yet. You can get the course with my code. It gives me a kickback. It also has a kickback for a fund to help with the fight for better regulations with the FAA's new doom and gloom coming. So you help me out. You help the fight against the FAA. I wouldn't say against the FAA. That's a little bit more. But you help the fight to keep the airspace open for us. And you get the course for 200, which is $100 off. I think it's a pretty good deal. And it's 8 hours of content, like you said. And I think the plan is to add more content going forward, which as you buy the course, that you're basically grandfathered into that content?
Yes. So it is lifetime access. So as soon as you buy it, if you bought it right now, like there were people who bought it on our pre-order back in, March, if you guys heard about it back in the RDQ days when RDQ was advertising us right in the beginning. And they, like, people who bought that, like, they didn't even have a single video when they bought it. It was on pre-order. And now we have over 85 videos. And these videos are not just me chatting for 20 minutes about whatever. It is very, very dense, good information that you can watch, and you can get a ton of information from it. But yes, we are going to be continually upgrading it. Most of our students have seen dozens of videos added since they signed up. Some have seen all 85 videos added. But yeah, we have plans to expand our racing section, expand the freestyle section, the flying section, enter into cinematic, teach digital. That's going to be definitely
a
a
3D
big one.
section, eventually, maybe a 3D section.
Yeah, yes. I would definitely say after it's been almost 2 weeks now since we were down there, I would definitely say we definitely need to add a 3D section. I see a lot of future 3D in the cinematic world.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool potential there. Not your crazy TikTok-y stuff that you do.
Well, I see a future for like a potential, because like I haven't done a proper course on 3D yet on my channel. Like I've done the intro on how to set up the hardware, I've done the basics on the simulator, but like as far as like actually like the process of getting into it and getting it into in a way that is easy for the general person, I haven't done that yet. And I think something like FPV Unlocked would be a good home for that kind of content. Plus, if I do put in the kind of work, I could get a kickback from working with you on that. So yeah, I think I think it's really cool, that idea that you're adding this over time. It's just a value add. If you get it today, you get more value tomorrow. Exactly. You might not get these, amazing $100 off deals. It might go back up to full price one day. And that one day may happen. It might have a lot more content though. So, it's, I think it's really cool. I mean, obviously it's not going to be for everybody, but I think for a lot of people, and I think this is the thing though, this is for the person that gets a drone on Christmas. Like you said, gets a drone on Christmas, wants to go fly it, but doesn't know any better. Or, gets a gift card to get FPV and wants to go buy a bunch of drone parts, and doesn't know what to do. Or, and it's just, those people are out there, and if there's something we can do to help hold their hand through the process, I think it's definitely worth it. And like I said, this solves, I think, one of the biggest issues, which is the hurdle of information that you have to learn to get into FPV. But yeah, so a couple questions. Let's go into the chat. Alexander says, FPV has a need for several components of info: building guides or gear, technical building info, technical programming and tuning info, safety info, regulatory info, and of course, flying info. That is a lot of information to learn to get off the ground and enjoying FPV. And the thing is, and this is my biggest pet peeve, and something that I don't think your course is going to solve, but definitely helps, is that until you taste FPV for the first time, like truly taste it, where you're flying enough to where you're kind of controlling the drone, and you're like, oh wow, this this is an out-of-body experience. Until you have that experience, you don't have the carrot on the stick. You just have the stick that keeps hitting you on the back of the head saying, this is difficult. But once you taste that carrot, you will put up with the mind-numbing stresses and bashing your head against soldering irons to get up in the air again. So yeah, it's I think
And that's where like the beauty of FPV, and that's something we're trying to help grow as well. Some of the things we're doing on our YouTube channel and Instagram, stuff like that, is just continue showing the beauty of FPV to people. It is absolutely incredible. Like it literally, I always tell people it's the closest you can get to flying without leaving the ground. I mean, like
it is,
we've
totally
always
is.
wanted to fly. Like humans have always wanted to fly. I've wanted to fly since I was a little kid. What do we all do? We grab our Walmart bag and we jump off our couch when we're 3 years old. My son does it all the
And it's
time.
much
Since he
safer
was
than
two,
jumping off of a
he was
roof.
jumping off the couch trying to fly. And like that's what we want to do. And then, we get something like this and we can stay on the ground, but we can experience something so amazing. And I know there's haters out there that's like, that's not real flying. Well, I've been in helicopters. I've experienced some real flying, but it is still incredible. It is still incredible. And that's what we
Well,
want to
I
keep
think
showing
it's in
people. We
some
want to
ways
keep.
it's more incredible because like when you're flying a
Agreed.
helicopter or a plane, you don't have the freedom to just go do a power loop most of the time. You don't have the freedom to like fly between trees and like do proximity and crash and like push the boundaries of what flight is.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's you're not physically in it. You can't easily look around. It's not the highest def, but when it clicks, and it's something that's so hard to describe to people is how amazing FPV is and how like we like every pilot knows the struggles of FPV. Every pilot knows how difficult it can be just to even keep one rig in the air and flying regularly. From the technical
Yeah.
issues, you crash, you break a motor. If you're new and your motor starts twitching, you might not know if it's the ESC, if it's the motor, if it's your flight controller. Like your brain, you just don't have that information. But if you've tasted that bit of flight first, then you'll want to continue the head pounding. And so right now we
Yeah.
have this level of mountain you have to climb before you get there, and we have to just do our best, like you say, keep showing people how amazing FPV is, because we have to keep showing them what the carrot looks like, because it's a very
Mhm.
delicious carrot once you get to eat it. But
Yeah.
it's
It's
really hard to
incredible.
get to it. And so yeah, that's again why I think the course is pretty amazing.
Yeah. We
Let's see.
did. I did see one question that, and I did want to actually say something on Alexander's message
Yeah, go
about
for
like
it.
all the thing that goes into it. The course, everything you mentioned, the course teaches at least something on every one of those things. Some of them, like buying guides for gear, we have a whole module that just talks about, hey, this is what you should buy. This is why, because we do like we start with like a kit, and the first one we teach is an analog Emax Hawk Pro. We think that's a really good beginner kit to work with. We give 10% off of Emax. We got a really good relationship with them, and they make really, really great
They
drones.
do.
So that's a really good one to start with for a lot of people, because I mean I've dropped that thing from with teaching beginners, I've dropped that thing for 155 feet straight into the ground, and we picked it up and brushed off the grass and it was good to go. Like and yeah, so like it was super 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 tough, and it's a super good drone. But a lot of the things you mentioned there, like almost all of them in some way or another, we do teach. We have the buying guides for gear. We have technical building info. We have a whole walkthrough on building tips, stuff like that. We go through beta flight programming. We go through tuning. We go over safety information. Regulatory info is something we're working more on, and we have we have a flying section, then freestyle flying section, racing flying section. So we have a lot of different stuff that can help push with that. And then the other question I had real quick, or question I saw, whatever FPV, is there a plan to sell the course with a complete kit? As far as like selling the course along with a kit, there isn't like a plan to necessarily do that now, but we do have our kits that we recommend to go and buy. And we are specifically working with a company right now on creating specific FPV Unlocked kits, where no matter what, whether you join the course or not, you can get a drone that we severely recommend for whatever type of flying that's going to be in that area. So that's a few different things we're working on right now.
Right on. And then another question I saw, referral program maybe. Yeah, there's a referral program. There's information if you want, my referral link is down in the description. For other pilots that
Yes.
want to get into it, there is a referral and affiliate program for other pilots that want to promote the course and potentially get a cut of that little sweet change. And it's actually a really good affiliate program too. Like, can you talk a little bit
Do you
more
mind
about
if I
that?
put the link in real quick for
Yeah,
that sign up?
yeah. If it
For
doesn't,
those who are like, yeah, for those people who like want to join for like the affiliate, like they're already seasoned FPV pilots or whatever, we do have an affiliate program for them to where they can make a portion of the sales, and then they can also recommend. So like I know a lot of pilots. Oh, it won't let me post it. So it's
what's
fpvunlocked.com/am as an affiliate management, or as an affiliate, yeah,
I'll
management,
post
I
it.
guess.
I'll post it.
Let's type that in right now. My keyboard is in such a bad position with this mic. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So fpvunlocked.com/am. Yeah, there we go. And that gives people the ability who aren't even in the course yet. Like I know a lot of people who, are in FPV and they get questions daily. What thing are you flying? How do I get started? And they don't always have the time to answer all of it, especially when it's just something they go and do for fun. So that's something we created to kind of help lessen the load for you guys, because I know a lot of you are just being bombarded with questions right now. And of course, you can make a little bit of commission. Once you sign up stuff, there is a way to where if you have enough followers and you're a bigger influence in the FPV area, where you can like review the course with us and stuff, so you can know for sure like what you're pushing to people and stuff like that. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good affiliate program. And but yeah, if you guys are interested in buying, definitely use Zoe's link down below. So.
Well, I think it's interesting because like Barwell did a video and it was completely unrelated to me losing my job months ago. But Barwell said I lost my job or something like that in relation
on his thumbnail it said I am fired.
I am fired. And that's because, and it goes for me too, it's like there's a lot of pilots, especially like when you get more known, people are always asking, how do I get into FPV? And I definitely love taking the time to help answer specific questions, but how do I get into FPV and hand-holding someone through the entirety of what that entails is a bit maddening. So it is actually nice that, there's a resource now and be like, how do I get into FPV? Boom.
Yeah.
And then you get a kickback. I mean, it's cool. I know I'm kind of selling it a little bit, but at the same time, there hasn't been a resource like this. Like with every industry, I think, like I keep taking example, Braille skateboarding. One of my favorite YouTube channels is Braille skateboarding, and they have a course that you can buy that will teach you everything you need to know from
Come on, let's all super duper chat our friend Zoe Collision.
Woohoo! Thanks Ron Muller for the super chat. Like Braille skateboarding will take it'll take the entire experience of learning how to do tricks, like get you to be intermediate from beginner. They'll teach you what the board is, like what kind of bearings are good, why the different names of the bearing from Apex 7 to 9, whatever. Like they teach you everything, and people can get that course, and it's very easy to follow along and learn. And then they have a YouTube channel where they just have fun and show people how to skateboard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it goes hand in hand, where you have these courses that help people actually learn this stuff in a way that makes more sense. Because like education and entertainment are two different things on YouTube. And I think the same thing goes, tutorial videos on individual things are different than complete courses that take everything into account from a very top-down looking perspective. So I think I've beaten that dead horse enough. Because I think that's the biggest question. I know when I posted the video, our last video talking about the course, people are like, why? What's the point? When we just get this information in YouTube? And I think it's just people don't understand what the course is, why it's important, and how helpful it can be. It's like a lack of information because there hasn't been something quite like this before. Which is something I'm good at.
I'm in the video, like, the videography business and stuff like that. I've been in it for years. And like courses are just the thing. Like if you really want to learn it, you buy a course and you invest that money into yourself and into your learning. And it really works well. But like you said, there's never really been anything like this for the FPV community. So there's definitely been a lot of varied responses. I guess that's one way of putting it. We've had some pretty mean comments, and we've had some great comments, and and that's great because there is a need for it, and we do want to help those people. That is our big goal. Is to help people and to grow FPV. Like that's what we want to do. We want to get more people into it. This thing is too amazing to not be getting it to everyone as much as possible.
I mean, it's yeah, and I've talked a lot about how amazing FPV is, and I don't want to go into that rabbit hole because I mean, everyone watching, I think this video, at least most people watching, probably know how amazing FPV is. They've had the experience of it. They also have had those struggles.
Mm-hmm.
They've had the friends, the people that have asked the questions, what is FPV? How do I get into it? Like a lot of us have had very similar experiences when it comes to those things. And it's really interesting because we're at a time, I think, in the hobby's life where we several years ago, we had like the initial, outcasts and outliers, the people that did strap a camcorder onto an RC helicopter or plane and did FPV with it back in the 80s, 90s, and early thousands. And Fat Shark, Gregory French came out with these goggles over 10 years ago now, and it was really underground. People were like, oh wow, I can get these dedicated goggles, I don't have to look at a screen anymore. It was a very niche thing back then. And then, that grew into, and there wasn't a traditional drone. We didn't have a 4-propellered machine that we threw FPV on. It was people flying planes. There's a video of someone using a 3D helicopter back in like early 2000 with FPV on it. I thought that was, they were building diving with a 3D helicopter. Back before
scary.
Back before drones ever building dive and back before 3D drones were a thing. And I think that is absolutely amazing. And they even like saw like construction workers up at the top of the building and stuff. Like they were doing things that today would chastise pilots, right? And so FPV has been, I think, around a lot longer than people realize. It's just been kind of unknown. And then we had Charpoo, we had the initial kind of cool racing drone videos that kind of sparked people's interest. News media started picking up on it. DRL was formed. The first AMA races in the United States happened. And we started having like the initial like people that had no idea this existed being like, oh hey, whoa, this is kind of interesting. Pod racing. Ooh, pod racing is real now. I could get into that. And so we had this like little rush of a bunch of basically geeks get into FPV, and it's been kind of amazing. Like I would say 9 times out of 10, someone that's in FPV is some sort of nerd / geek, whether it be technically related, as in like computer / like technology related, or something that is very highly skilled / specific. Like I know sound engineers that are into FPV. You have people that are purely artists that are just highly technical. That it just brings out the very technical person into the hobby, but that does not sustain it into a very wide realm of people, right? So we hit this limit, I think, of how many technical people already know about FPV. I mean, if you're a technical person, especially if you're technology related, you probably know about drones. You've probably heard of FPV on some level at this point. If you're part of the general population that, wouldn't say technically adept, you probably may not know about FPV yet. And this is the thing, is that we have this challenge now of taking the industry from a very technically adept hobby it can be very time consuming and very technically challenging to get into, and bringing it to a level that the mass consumer can be a part of. And this is the life of it. Like once we hit that, then we can start growing it into this massive, thing that almost anyone can get into. Yeah. And we're slowly getting there. So we had this little spike of people, and then the people were like, oh, this is expensive. And then we had a little bit of a drain. And now we're slowly on this buildup of where the industry is going, where I think needs to go. We have your course. We have more information last 2 years. We've had more information on YouTube regarding FPV. in the last year, we've had more information regarding FPV than we've had in the last like 4 years. Like the amount of information available has skyrocketed, which helps get people into it. It also creates an information vortex where you can get trapped going from YouTube video to YouTube video trying to find information and get lost in it. So it's helped, but it's also created this problem. Now you have FPV Unlocked. I'm going on a rant, people. I'm so sorry. This is an important rant, okay? Important rant. I'm so sorry, Jacob. So we have...
No, wait. Sorry. Just woke up. That was my iPad screen in front of it, just with my smiling face. No, you're good. Well, you're speaking the truth. You're speaking the truth.
Let me go to my main camera. Like main camera rant time. Okay, now people can see my face as I rant. So we're in this phase now where we have, FPV Unlocked, which I think is part of the key, right? This is one of those aspects that really helps make FPV easier for that general population to get into. Now we have companies, it's been leaked / very heavily hinted at, if you've been following the rumor mill in the drone industry, that DJI is going to be releasing an FPV drone. Like there's been pictures of a controller, there's been pictures of a potential FPV drone itself. There's been multiple leaks. And they make FPV goggles, they already make FPV related products. And DJI makes drones primarily, so it only makes sense that they're going to put out an FPV drone at some point in time. And from the looks of it, they're getting fairly close to that point. So my point being in all this is that DJI is not going to release a drone that I think is traditionally the same kind of FPV drone we've all known and loved. Whereas it's full acro, you can fly it around, do it all you want, do the flippy floppies, do the 3Ds, make it go upside downs. It'll probably still do that, but I think they're going to have something more intelligent on board. Something that's going to basically be hand-holding for the average person that's never touched a drone before. Because that's what DJI has done. That is how they've been so successful. They have made something that's technically challenging very accessible to the average person. That is what they've done well. That is what's made them their money. So, within this train of thought, when and if the industry comes out with a drone the general population get a hold of, there's still going to be technical challenges. You still have to learn how to fly. There's still going to be acro. And I still think this is going to be a drone that won't hinder the hobby industry of where we self-build our drones. I don't think it'll hinder that. With more people buying drones that are easy to fly with FPV, they'll get into FPV and be like, oh, I want a badass hot rod. I want something that's cool. And they're going to spend money to get those custom drones. They're going to spend the time to build those drones because they have tasted flight. And forever they will look upon the sky. So, I think that is the future. That is the point in time where FPV will become more mass market. And I think we're getting very close to that time. Apple has released a video with an FPV drone that has an iPhone attached to it for cinematic use with Johnny FPV at the helm. Like, we're getting ever so closer to that mainstream ability within FPV. And we're almost there. We're almost there. So yeah, that's my rant, guys. I'm sorry. I noticed the as I ranted, more and more people watched and stayed watching the stream.
Just keep ranting forever.
I think I need to just do more rants. I don't know. If you guys like hearing me rant, maybe I'll just do more story time YouTube videos and stuff. But anyways, yeah, the industry, we've gone from the Atari to the game boom of the early 80s to the game crash of the early 80s, and now we're in this, slow progressive upwards trend of building out the industry. Mm-hmm. Now I'm done. Okay, Jacob.
Could you even hear me any of that time once you went back to full screen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
okay. I didn't know.
Your audio's still pumped
I was adding little bits of extra laughing or smiles here or there, but I didn't know if any of them were going through. But no, that was a great rant. I loved it. Total support. I did see a question from Alexander that I promised him I would I would promise that I would answer. So basically, the question was, how are you? Is there an opportunity, or have you talked with people about bringing this out of just like online courses into the real world and really educating people, person to person, and working with industries to, make it a real world experience, like you have your STEM stuff like that. I'm guessing that's what we're all that they're referring to. And the answer is yes. We've actually been talking to several colleges, universities, some very well known universities. We've even talked with government companies as well about really making this a big thing. And bringing it even further than just online courses and stuff like that, and actually bringing it to, the real world. That is a big process. I know other people who are selling courses, and they're doing that same thing, to where they're trying to move it into real world application where they can do meetings and stuff like that. But obviously, that takes a much more logistics. If need be on a day, I can run the course for a day. When you start going, live events, or, meeting up with people and doing live training, then you start going into a lot more logistics of getting people hired on, stuff like that. So it is a goal for sure, but it will definitely be a little while before we get there. But fortunately, we do have universities and, several different places that are very interested in breaking into that and making that part of this deal. So we will definitely see how that develops in the future.
Right on.
Yeah.
And we are nearing 45 minutes into our live stream today. I only want to go for a few minutes more. I have a tendency of going for way longer than I want to, and I'm trying really hard to reel it in, because I realize I can say the same information in 2 hours that it only takes an hour to say. And so trying to keep it nice and tight for y'all today. If you have any other questions for Jacob, any other questions about the course, any questions for me, now is your time to get those in chat so we can get those answered before we bring this live stream to conclusion today. And I do want to say, keep an eye out going forward. There's definitely going to be some announcements, and I'm excited for them. We're so close to the announcements. Could be multiple announcements too, which is very anxiety-inducing, but also exciting at the same time. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Also, I did some tests. This is completely unrelated to this video or to anything we're doing. Let me go back to my main camera for a second. If you guys want to check out I tried gaming on my channel recently. Some of you liked it. Some of you didn't. To the point of where that was the first time on my entire channel on a video that I think I've actually lost subscribers. That was painful, guys. That was super painful. So, on that note, I'm going to start a second channel, either on YouTube or Twitch. I am not 100% sure yet, for my gaming exploits, because I like to chill and game, and also I thought it'd be kind of fun to stream it, but apparently my main channel, where people are largely expecting just drone content, is not the place for it. So keep an eye out for another channel with that in mind. I had a Twitch account at one point, but I never really did anything with it. And I don't know. Anyways, I'm playing a lot of Dual Universe. If by chance there's some people out there that know what Dual Universe is, play it and want to play with me, hit me up, because I am absolutely addicted to this game. It has been a great way to pass the time. And all that good stuff. Anyways, stay tuned for more flying videos. Stay tuned for a cinematic edit. Jacob and I went out to Glamis, and we did some chasing of some buggies out in the sand at sunset, and we flew in 40 mile an hour winds, and
felt like a hurricane.
It felt like a hurricane, like sand constantly blowing in your face, hurricane. But it was cool. We got some cool footage. I'm looking forward to that. I still have to finish the edit. I started finishing it this morning, and I'm like, I have this issue where I want to be 1 minute and 20 seconds long, and it's at 2 minutes right now, because I want a really short, fast-paced, cinematic, punch you in the gut, leave you wanting more edit. And because like 2 minutes, like I watch it, I'm like, this is good, but this isn't fire. And if I'm going against Jacob, I want to make sure it's fire. And so he's planning on releasing that video Monday, which means I need to get my ass busy and get this stuff finished today. He wanted
Like
me
an
to get it, he wanted me to get it done an hour ago, I think. So
Actually, like a week ago would be great.
yeah, a week ago would have been great too. Yeah, so I started working on it like well over a week ago. And so yeah, it'll be done by the day. But yeah, plan for 1 minute and 20 seconds on that edit, Jacob. Just give me that 1 minute and 20 second tick, and then I'll send the file, like drop that thing in there. But yeah, no, that should be coming out that will come out Monday. After the live stream, I'm probably gonna I am gonna go edit that and finish that edit. And that's my primary project for the day. It's actually funny. I turned down going to Glamis today because I had an invite to go film the races that Jacob and I both got the invite, but I wasn't feeling all that great yesterday. I put off a live stream, and also I'm still not feeling all that great today, so I figured, I'm gonna adult a little bit. I got some stuff I need to get done, so I'm gonna stay home and not play around with giant 1500 horsepower sand rails. There'll be a next time. But yeah, I think that
Can
covers
they hear me yet?
Huh?
I still don't know if I can be heard or not.
No, you can definitely be heard.
Okay, awesome.
Now you can be seen.
Okay, sweet. I can only watch the YouTube along with you guys, so there's like a 2 or 3 second delay on my end. So like I can't tell for sure what's actually happening until a couple seconds after. Yeah, but I totally forgot about that Glamis thing. Like that would have been cool to be there, but I couldn't make another trip down there.
Yeah.
But no, that cinematic edit, guys, that we did a little battle, that will be coming out on my channel on Monday. So you can see me in the chat, FPV Unlocked. You can go check out my YouTube channel, and we'll be posting that. So we'll see who did a better cinematic.
I'm anxious.
I'm working on mine right now.
I'm anxious because like
I almost want to wait until I get yours and then know whether or not like what I
no,
need to
no,
do
no,
to
no,
adjust.
no, 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 no,
But that
no,
would
no,
be
no,
unfair.
no. I mean, it would. I mean, I totally see that, and that's also, I think, why I've been hesitant just to send you my okay 2-minute edit, because like, one, I'm highly competitive. This is something you'll learn. Two, you did something bad by challenging me to a competition when I haven't competed in like months. So like I'm chomping at the bit to compete. 3, people always hold me down because I fly 3D. They don't think I can fly cinematically. So I want to nail it. And finally, I'm kind of scared because I only had like 2-3 batteries, I think. It was really windy and the sun was leaving us by the second. So it
was an interesting predicament. I mean, I looked at some of the footage that you sent over of just like the raw footage, and I totally think like we have very similar footage when it comes down to it. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to our editing, how we edit it.
Like I said, 1 minute, 20 second, punch you in the gut, gotta be quick, gotta be in, gotta hit you hard.
That's about what I'm going for too. Maybe we should even set a time limit on it. But that's kind of what I'm going for too, is kind of like that minute and a half and just kind of, punch in the gut and want it more.
Yeah, so that's and it's hard because it's a different kind of editing. Like I'm familiar with my footage. I tend to edit, like at least lately, like nice lengthy clips of 3D footage. Because I don't want people to think that my flying is a trick, or like I just cut out a really neat trick out of a run, And so like that lends itself to a whole different style of editing and just thinking about editing. And I don't it's I'm scared. I might lose this one.
Cinematic FPV is definitely a different beast to really, tackle and stuff. There's definitely a lot that goes into like in the editing specifically. So for sure. So I think it's really going to come down to that. That's how we edit.
So wait, we got to do like a poll on your channel about who wins.
Yeah, I think what we should do, and maybe you guys could say in the chat whether you think this is better yet. Should we say in the video whose is whose, or should we just say 1 and 2, and then you guys have to say in the comments?
I think we have to do 1 or 2, and people have to say in the comments.
Yeah, because I mean,
I'll get
you're
love
a little
bombed.
bit more well known
Yeah.
than I am,
Yeah, I'll
so
get love
I'm
bombed.
worried there might be a little favoritism towards you. You know, I'm not willing to hold it against you.
You know, I won't talk to you for a week if I lose, right? I'll be
That will make
skulking.
some other things difficult.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think that's the way to do it. It's fun. I mean, I'd be happy to lose. Like I said, it was it was funny because we got there fairly early in the day. We got there at a decent time, and then our contact was busy, and we didn't get out there until fairly late in the day. And it was just like we were literally chasing the sunset. Like as we got out there, the sun was just barely about to crest below the horizon. It was just like, okay, we got this one battery of really good looking footage. The rest of it's gonna be okay at best.
Yeah, it was definitely a difficult flight and a difficult time because we literally pulled up onto the last sand dune, and the last ray of sunlight went right behind that cloud, and it was gone.
I was like, oh.
So
it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat because flying in 40-mile-an-hour winds, you see like sand just blowing off of dunes as you're flying. Mm-hmm. Like there's a couple shots where if in slow-mo, it looks really interesting to see the sand just blowing off into the distance. It looks kind of otherworldly, and especially at the time of day, because with color correction you can I don't know, I'm not gonna no, my edit shh, it's gonna be cool, people. So yeah, so I'll definitely be posting. I'll probably do like a reaction video on my channel. Like I'll watch it and react to it, right?
That's a good idea.
And then I'll send people to your channel for it, and then I'll probably post in my community tab where they can go watch it and vote. Because that could be fun.
Sounds great.
But yeah, I think with that, we are 7 minutes away from an hour. We might actually you know what? We'll end just a little bit early. We talked about what we wanted to talk about. I think we've answered pretty much everyone's question in the chat. Is there anything else, Jacob? Like anything that we didn't touch on?
A few things I want to throw out real quick. If you guys go to our website, you can see all our information on the course. It's fpvunlocked.com. Zoe's link is down below. And you can see all the information on the course, but also there's a little chat button there so you can talk to us if you have more questions. So that works really well, and we can talk right to you guys. I think actually one of you messaged me while we're on this. So so that you can talk to us right away, right there on the website. Right now we are running a promotion for the rest of November. For every sale we make, we donate $20 of that sale to Fight Remote ID. And then if you use code FIGHTFAA right now, which is also indicated on Zoe's link, you'll get $100 off the course. It is a one-time payment, and that's all you have to do. You just buy it, and then you have it for life. So that was just the last little bit of information just here and there. So that wasn't another plug.
And that's an important one. Right? And the thing is, like, we didn't really get into the whole Fight the FAA thing. I think we need to actually leave on that tone. What the heck is that hashtag? What is Fight the FAA? What is this thing you're doing? How is it going to benefit the hobby?
Yeah, so for those, I'm sure everybody has heard about remote ID so far, but which basically in the end, the FAA is trying to extremely limit or end aspects of FPV, if not the whole thing. So we have partnered with several different companies, including Race Day Quads, Get FPV, FPV FC, Emacs USA. Bardwell sent out an email about it earlier last week. Of course, you, Zoe. So we worked with a bunch of different companies and people to say that, hey, for every purchase we get in November, we will donate $20 of that sale to fighting remote ID, to getting it to where they need to listen to us. They need to be like, okay, these guys have a voice. You know, let's listen to them. Let's adjust the ruling or whatever. Like, we have to get some kind of voice out there. So that's a promotion we're doing at least for the rest of November. We might extend it throughout the year, but I haven't made that decision quite yet. We're going to see how November goes. But yeah, so that's a way that you can support the course, get the information for yourself and the community and everything. Support Zoe because she gets obviously an affiliate commission, and then support the hobby as well.
A win-win-win, I think. Or just
win-win-win-win.
Right on. So on that note, I think I'm going to go back to my main camera. Thank you guys for watching this live stream and joining me on this beautiful Saturday morning. Well, it might not be beautiful for you. And also might not be Saturday morning either, considering there's probably people internationally that are watching this right now. But thank you guys for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool to talk about this. I'm glad I got a few seconds to rant. The one thing I've learned, you guys really like my rants. Like, I could watch the views and the watch time go up when I started ranting. So I'm going to make sure to include more rants in the future because I have a lot of stuff I would like to rant about. And not in a bad way. I mean, like, just the culture of FPV, how drones started, the early days of drones in the FPV industry. You know, like, I even made it, and like a lot of people don't know this, I made a documentary for Amazon that's an hour long that is about the history of FPV. Like, it goes from how FPV started back in the 80s to where it is now. And they're and you know, may or may not ever see the light of day. But my point being is, like, I am passionate about drones. There's a lot of stuff I like to rant about drones, and a lot of information that I think would be really cool if it was conveyed. So I might start doing more story time videos, which is me talking to the camera. And again, stay tuned for the video coming out Monday. Links will be somewhere on my channel. I'll be posting a reaction video, probably a live reaction video, so we all can react to the video together. And check out the link for FPV Unlocked again down in the description. Stay tuned for more future announcements, and then, you know, things are getting really cool. I'm trying to talk really loud and like this.